I'm Katrina, this is Tare, and today I'm making a video. I wasn't gonna actually do a video, but I figured, you know what? It's been a while since you guys saw how I did this, so let's go for it. I am taking some rabbits that have already been processed. They've been in ice water for 4.5 days now, and they're ready to be bagged up. So if you don't want to see rabbits that are already processed, already gone, nothing graphic, just kitchen stuff, then don't watch this. If you would like to see how I bag up my rabbits, then continue. So number one, I do cervical dislocation, and that is something I don't show. So I use a hopper. You guys can look up on their website. They have videos that show it very clearly. And unfortunately they are no longer available. Hopefully the website's still up, but it's something you can make on your own. There are other ways to do cervical dislocation, and that is up to you to figure out. Once the animal's processed, I put them in ice water for 4 days is about what it takes for rabbits. It's been 4.5 days, that's fine. But 4 days is what it takes for rabbits to go through their rigor mortis. So I do have a video, I'll put a link here. I have a video talking about that with quail, and it's the same process for rabbits. I just haven't done a video on the one for rabbits yet. And it is a process by which all of the muscles tense after animals die. All the muscles tense. If you think about, you've seen roadkill on the side of the road, they tense up, and then they relax after a point. Now, what we want to do is we want to get it through that rigor mortis part of getting it through the tense into relaxation without the meat going bad. So that's why we have it in ice water, or some people just put it in the refrigerator and dry age it. It's up to you to decide what you want to do with that. It'll be less gamey if you do in the water, because more blood comes out of the meat when you do it that way. So anyway, I have videos on that and stuff, but what I'm doing now is I always take you're replacing the water each day when you do that. And so now I take it out, I rinse it off. There's going to be hairs on it. Now, these were rabbits that were black, so they're going to have black hairs. Honestly, guys, these are for me. And since I'm not like selling them or something, I take off the obvious ones and I don't spend too much time. My time is more important to me than doing that. So time right now is something I'm short on. So when I do that, when I'm in that situation, I bag the rabbits whole. Now, I do have a couple videos, I'll link them up here. I will redo them since I have a better camera now at some point, but I think they're very detailed videos on how to part up a rabbit and how to actually cut it off the bone, because they have some interestingly shaped bones. So I'll put those links up there if you want to see that. What I'm doing today is just the full rabbit. So I'm going to rinse one and I'll come back. Okay, so here is a processed rabbit. So here's a processed rabbit. It was processed at 12 weeks old, and you can see, like, here there's some hair on there. I just take that off, and this is what they look like once they've been kind of processed. So what I do first is I do use a flour sack towel. I do use, a lot of my flour sack towels have stains, like this one down below here has stains. Some of them are stained by berry juice, and it ends up turning brown. Some of them are stained by other things, and as long as they're clean, it's fine. So I pat dry, and in the cavity you're gonna have some water build up because I just rinsed it. So with that, what I do is I take this, and there's a belly flap, and I reach around the belly flap, fold that in, and just kind of press it for a little bit. Let the towel soak it up, and then do the same thing to the other side. and let that soak up. Okay. Now that's fairly dry. All right, now up here, you want to get into the armpits and around here. It's literally just drying it off and it's fine. So, all right, first thing, all right, I have a theory and I haven't tested it yet. I do have a bunch of rabbit fat in the freezer. Now it does take a bunch of fat to get, it does take a bunch of rabbits to get a bunch of rabbit fat. But I believe, just based off of, so I have done, back up. I have done a video, or the link up here, which is making, rendering rabbit fat. So that would be rabbit lard is what it would be. And that is, it's a pretty low smoke point. So I think it would be better used for like breads and biscuits and that kind of thing. But you can make, you know, your homemade fats with rabbit fats. It takes a lot of rabbits to add up to that. So it does take a lot to make any amount of usable rendered fat. Now with pigs, that's another lard animal. With pigs, the belly part, the part inside by the kidneys is called leaf lard, and that is a different kind of lard than the body fat. And the fat that's in by the kidneys is used to make it's rendered separately so that it can be used in things like pastries and not taste like pig, right? So if you've cooked with lard, it has some lard taste in it, and whether you like that or not is up to you. But whether you like it in like your you know, your croissants, you know, that might be a little off-putting because it's supposed to taste like a croissant. So that is used separately and differently than the body fat. So I believe, based on texture, that is likely true with rabbits, because the texture and density of the fat inside the body cavity is different than the texture on the body. So I believe that to be true. I don't have any proof or anything of that, but I do think I'm going to do that video. I'm gonna experiment and do a video later. So anyway, with that said, let's get back to it. All right, so we open up the cavity here. Again, we have more hair. But there's a bunch of fat there. The kidney sits right here usually. I take them out when I process them. And that actually, you can just take it and pull that right out. Comes out pretty dang easy. And there you go. So this fat is, it's denser. It feels denser. And so I put that to the side. And same thing on this side. There we go. So you can see, so you guys can see how that looks dense. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's a much more dense fat. All right. Next up, we have fat at the chest right here. It's just a flap here. So I pull it up, and then it literally comes apart from the meat part. So you should be able to get it without the meat. But that has a different texture than the inner fat. And I'm putting these in bowls. I already have done some individuals here to separate them out. Do this side. And then you'll also have some on the elbow interior, and then sometimes it's connected, sometimes it's not, to the under, like, it's like right here. and then into the armpit. So again, I just pull that up to separate and then cut the connective tissue. And then it gets a little more attached right there. All right. So this side's dry. We can pat it again if you want. You can leave it be, whatever. And we flip. All right. Boy, this one has a lot of hair. And again, I'm not trying to get every little bit, but this is quite a bit. Okay, so you can see there's two big areas of fat here. That is on every rabbit. They have those two things of fat. Now, but Katrina, mine doesn't have that. What happened? You just said all rabbits have it. Guys, sometimes that fat comes off when you skin them. So if your rabbit only has one or doesn't have any, it probably got left with the skin. So with the hide. There you go, back to it. This is easy enough to lift this side and cut. Again, you can see that connective tissue there. You're just cutting through the connective tissue. You shouldn't cut the meat at all. If you want to just go like that, you can. If you want to cut it, you can. But should be able to avoid the meat entirely. And then again, start on this side. And there you go. There is some fat up by the neck, and you can choose to get it out if you want. I usually don't. You also don't have to take off the fat. I am just doing it. Oh, looks like I took off this. Okay, I'll show you on this side. So sometimes they have love handles. It looks like the other side got ripped off or something, but they have a little bit of fat right here. And then down here by the tail, two little fat nuggets. If you want to cook your rabbit with this on, that is completely fine. I am just taking it off because I am making lard out of it. Now the rabbit is, well, I'm going to say clean of hair. It's really not, but good enough for me. And I've harvested the fat off. Flip them back over. I make these bags, they come on a roll, and then I just use my food saver to make one seam. I pre-label it. I already know it's a rabbit. It's not gonna be lost on me that it's a rabbit. Open up the bag. Now here's where you have to think about the future. If you are planning on doing this in an Instapot or a other pressure cooker, the tighter round you make it, the better, because it will actually fit. But what I do is I take the back feet, put them to the front feet, okay, and then that goes into the bag. Let's see if I can do this differently. So I go back first, and I do this so I don't puncture the bag. You can be more careful with your cuts on the legs, and it's going to be fine, but there you go. Now sometimes the bag gets caught on the shoulder like this, so I just push it in, tuck it under, and shake it down. Well, that was successful. Okay, I like to have these so the back is on the bottom. So I'm just going to reposition. This always happens when you're filming, right? Oh, the other ones are smooth. All right. So there we go. We have it in a bag, and I'm going to show you how to use the food saver. All right, so I have something up here because I found that the food saver works better if there's kind of something there. And then also, I put my hand underneath it, and with it being up a little bit, it seems to work better. All right, close it up. So I'm lining it up so the edge of this is in the little tray in here. Trying not to have any creases. Go from open to operate. Vacuum seal. And again, I do lift this up just a little bit. There's some tricks. It's sealing now, so the red light is. And we're done. Now, this is gonna have a little bit of bloody, so all I do is I put it onto the towel, put a towel over it, and kind of press on it out, and that works. All right, so now we have our rabbit. It could be a little tighter curled if you were going to put it into a pressure cooker. You can adjust things now, and then this goes in the freezer. Now, the two important things that we do here before it goes in the freezer is, number one, I pat it dry. The least moisture you have on the surface of your food when you put it in the freezer, the lower the chance of it getting freezer burn. Also, if there's no air in there, that will also reduce the likelihood of freezer burn. So it's going to stay fresher longer when you do those two steps. Now, I have done it where I don't pat them dry when I'm in a rush, and it's fine, but if you're going to be in the freezer for any amount of time, I would pat them dry. So there we go. That's how I do it. Now I have more to do. So hopefully you guys follow all the links that I had throughout the video. The cards were up in the corner. And if you have questions, we can talk about that. I talk about that on the live chat if you would like. We do that Mondays at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And it's a whole lot of fun to get together and talk every week. So, yeah, like I said, this is a rabbit, homegrown. And good things happen when you grow homegrown food. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you now understand what to do with the rabbits once you've processed them. Some options about doing the fats and or not doing them. And then also, if you clicked on the link about how to part them up, that will be really helpful to you if you are planning on parting them up. So, thank you for watching. Hit the like, share this around, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.